Hi, this is Mark. Welcome back to my channel, What Burns My Ass. This is the channel where I tell you the things that burn my ass, and then you tell me whether or not they burn your ass too. So this video is to debunk the Kamala Harris campaign lies that she's been repeating since she took over the nomination from Joe Biden, which most people might even consider a coup, because the American people didn't actually pick her. She was pushed in front of the American people and said, this is your candidate. And everybody knows the reason why that was because $250 million had been put in the coffers for the Biden-Harris campaign. And had they not run Kamala Harris, they would have had to give that $250 million back. But to me, I still say that's a big mistake, because had they run a candidate with a brain, somebody like Josh Shapiro, or even if they brought back Hillary Clinton. I'm not a big fan of Hillary Clinton, but I know she's intelligent. She has a brain, and she knows what a budget, what a budget would be for the government, and maybe how to handle a problem. Let's say if we have stock market issues or a market crash, I would trust her way more than I would trust Kamala Harris. Because every time they've ever asked her anything like that, first of all, she hasn't answered a question like that, but if they've asked her any kind of budgetary questions, her answer is, we're going to build the rich, or some other ridiculous answer that doesn't make sense, and it just rambles on and on about hopes and aspirations. It's kind of insane. So anyway, she repeats these lies, and of course, the mainstream media, being in the pockets of the Democratic Party, they just repeat those lies, especially people like Joe Scarborough on MSDNC. He repeats these lies over and over and over again. And he would sit up and I love that one thing where he said that Joe Biden was the most cogent he'd ever been, and if you don't like that, F you. I mean, it was insane the way it's just the bias is insanity, and he's never apologized for that. And I don't understand how he doesn't feel like a fool for repeating that now, seeing where we are today in this campaign. So anyways, let's go ahead and watch these videos, and I'm going to first show the video of the lie, and then I'm going to have Donald Trump debunk it. And also, I want you to stay to the very end, because the end video is really important here. Because to me, it's the most crucial part of this video, because I think it involves our national security. If you want my opinion on it, go ahead. You wait and see. I think you're going to be shocked some of the things that comes out of Kamala Harris's mouth in that video. So hold on.
And we know what a second Trump term would look like. It's all laid out in Project 2025, written by his closest advisors.
Number one, I have nothing to do, as you know, and as she knows better than anyone, I have nothing to do with Project 2025. That's out there. I haven't read it. I don't want to read it purposely. I'm not going to read it. This was a group of people that got together. They came up with some ideas, I guess some good, some bad, but it makes no difference. I have nothing to do.
So there you go. Donald Trump dispels that lie. And he's repeated it for months, but she'll still go out there on rallies. She'll still go out there in interviews and claim that if Donald Trump becomes president, he's a threat to democracy, and everything in Project 2025 is going to come to fruition because he's going to support it. Yet, no matter how many times Donald Trump says he's not going to support it, she's going to repeat that. And that's to affect the low information voters, the people that don't really think for themselves. They just believe whatever they hear on television or whatever they read in a newspaper. And I'm finding that actually, if you ever read a newspaper nowadays, it's almost as biased, if not more biased, than the national television channel, the national TV networks. So, all right. So here's another debunk lie.
Who in fact vowed to be a dictator on day one.
He's using this. This is just a political ploy. Trump is a dictator. He wants to be a dictator. It's interesting. I did a show, Sean Hannity. Did you ever hear of him? He's a very nice man. And he said, essentially, you're not going to be a dictator, are you? Tell me. I think he was trying to give me a nicer question that maybe you guys would. He meant it very well. I said, I'm going to be a dictator for one day. We're going to do two things. The border, we're going to make it so tight you can't get in unless you come in legally. And the other is energy. We're going to drill, baby, drill. After that, I'm not going to be a dictator. After that, I'm not going to be a dictator. So you weren't saying that if the courts... And the press picks it up. So I said, I'm going to be a dictator for one day. They cut it. They go, I'm going to be a dictator. But they cut the rest of the sentence. No.
So there you go. See, he even explains it. They purposely cut his sentences off so that it sounds like he said he's going to be a dictator, but it was more or less a jovial joke saying that he's going to, be a dictator for one day just to stop the border and to drill. Yet she keeps repeating that lie habitually over and over and over again. She said it in the debate again. She said it in Oprah. She said it in all her other interviews. And she knows full well that's not true. I don't understand. See, to me, that shows an ethical issue. Don't run on what you can do for the American people. Run on what your candidate lied about, and run on the things that your candidate did wrong. And because things didn't work out in your administration, it was because of the prior candidate, or it's because you're the person that you're running against. It's absolutely insane. There's just no integrity at all, especially when it comes to Kamala Harris. So let's listen to another lie.
Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side.
And I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? And the press has treated them absolutely unfairly. Now, in the other group also, you had some fine people, but you also had troublemakers, and you see them come with the black outfits and with the helmets and with the baseball bats.
See, so there you go. That myth has been kicked down the road so many times. The View's probably the one I think's repeated it the most. But for 6 or 7 years, they keep trying to say that Donald Trump said there was good people in the KKK. Now, what he was really saying is there were both good people on both sides for keeping the statues and getting rid of the statues. There were some people that wanted to get rid of them because they felt like it was glorifying people from, the generals from the South who was pro-slavery. And then there was people that wanted to keep him because, like Donald Trump mentioned in another interview, George Washington was a slave owner. So was Thomas Jefferson. Are we going to wipe our history clean? We can't do that. So, that's why he was saying there was fine people on both sides. But, of course, our news media is going to twist this into he's a racist because he said there's fine people in the KKK. It's astonishing. It's baffling how this continues to happen over and over and over again in our media. There's another lie.
Donald Trump, the candidate, has said in this election there will be a bloodbath if this and the outcome of this election is not to his liking. Let's turn the page on this. Let's not go back.
United States with no tax at the border. Let me tell you something to China. If you're listening, President Xi, and you and I are friends, but he understands the way I deal, those big monster car manufacturing plants that you're building in Mexico right now, and you think you're going to get that, you're going to not hire Americans, and you're going to sell the cars to us. Now, we're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it. But they're not going to sell those cars. They're building massive factories.
So there you go. Again, she's trying to say that Donald Trump said if he doesn't get elected, that there's going to be this bloodbath, like there's going to be a revolution or something, or there's going to be a military uprising or something like that. That's what she's trying to apply. But if you have a brain and you actually listen to the quote, and I've seen the news media again repeat this lie over and over again, that Donald Trump is threatening the American public safety, which is insane. He was talking about the auto industry going under if we let China sell their electric cars in our market. That's all that was about. It just needs to stop. Let's do another one.
Final topic here. Since we're here in Texas, I want to ask you about the border. Would you call the border secure?
I think that there is no question that we have to do what the president and I asked Congress to do. Is the first request we made: pass a bill to create a pathway to citizenship. The border is secure, but we also have a broken immigration system, in particular over the last 4 years before we came in, and it needs to be fixed.
We're going to have 2 million people cross this border for the first time ever. You're confident this border's secure?
We have a secure border in that that is a priority for any nation, including ours and our administration. But there are still a lot of problems that we are trying to fix, given the deterioration that happened over the last 4 years. We also have to put in place a law and a plan for a pathway for citizenship for the millions of people who are here and are prepared to do what is legally required to gain citizenship.
So here we are again. She said we had a secure border, yet there's I don't think there's like 16,000 murders that have been let in, and rapists, and I forgot how many thousands of people on the terrorist watch list. Now this is a little old. This was September, but that's only last month, and she's still saying as little as a month ago that our border is secure. How do you secure a border when you just let over 11 million people? Some people are estimating our border is being as high as 15 to 20 million. So we still don't know because she didn't really pay. They haven't really been able to keep track of exactly how many people have come through this border. That's absolutely insane. And to me, that is a major problem for this country's security. It just is. So let's go ahead and watch another lie.
With just 2 weeks from the presidential election, the Biden-Harris administration is scrambling to hide the illegal immigration problem from the public's view and is now shipping more migrants to Texas and Arizona from California. The Border Patrol facilities there are overwhelmed, and Border Patrol sources say that the situation has come to a point where they've had to consider releasing migrants onto the streets, but because of optics issues, they've decided to increase flights of migrants to Texas and buses to Yuma, Arizona. In addition, our sources at ICE say they have been pressured to ramp up deportations ahead of the election to increase the numbers of individuals being removed from the country. San Diego County Supervisor Jim Desmond called the move a blatant attempt by the Biden-Harris administration, quote, to protect their image before the election. San Diego has been the top sector for illegal crossings across the southern border and has still been overwhelmed despite new restrictions by the Biden-Harris administration that have led to a downturn in illegal crossings. Border Patrol facilities in San Diego are operating above operational capacity, meaning that they have more migrants in custody than they can handle. Many migrants are choosing to go there because the Biden administration has instructed Border Patrol agents in San Diego to allow for more loopholes to their asylum restrictions that allows for migrants from more than 100 countries in the Eastern Hemisphere to get released because their home countries will not take them back. Now, the facilities in San Diego have about 1,200 individuals in custody, operating at about 122% operational capacity. Now in Texas, in the Rio Grande Valley, where Border Patrol is flying those migrants, they're operating at about 19% operational capacity. And in Yuma, where the buses are going, they are operating at about 51% operational capacity. Now, these buses and flights have been leaving San Diego with migrants for months, moving them to these other states. However, the flights and buses have increased in frequency, and the drop-offs have only continued as the need for the transports increases and as the Biden administration looks ahead of the election. Sources say that this is the big motivator for this move to enhance the transports, to decompress the area in San Diego and move migrants elsewhere where they'll be out of the public's view.
So what a manipulation. They had going on 3.75 years at this point, let's say, to do something. They waited to the last minute so that they had good optics. And now they're starting to ship these people around to other states that don't even want them because the pile would be so huge. And they're saying that they're controlling the border, but why is still so many people coming in if you're actually controlling the border? So, here we go again. Just more lies and manipulation. And I don't understand how the American public doesn't see this, that they're being manipulated with lies. And this is a lie by the Biden-Harris administration. They don't really want to control. If you notice in the prior interview with Chuck Todd, she wants to give these people amnesty. That's her whole goal, so that they become Democrat voters. And, I mean, she's willing to damage our country so that the Democrat Party can gain a leverage on the Republican Party, which is just insane. They're trying to get the upper hand, but with the popular vote, and they don't care how much this is damaging these towns that they're cramming these people in, our hospitals, our emergency services, the amount of drugs, the rape, the child trafficking. That's not important. What's most important to the Democrat Party is that they get their voters in. That's what's important to them. If that doesn't tell you something about the Democratic Party, I don't know what is. It's really scary. Let's watch one more live.
So yesterday we learned that Donald Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, a retired four-star general, confirmed that while Donald Trump was president, he said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had. Donald Trump said that because he does not want a military that is loyal to the United States Constitution. He wants a military that is loyal to him. He wants a military who will be loyal to him personally, one that will obey his orders even when he tells them to break the law or abandon their oath to the Constitution of the United States. In just the past week, Donald Trump has repeatedly called his fellow Americans the enemy from within, and even said that he would use the United States military to go after American citizens. And let's be clear about who he considers to be the enemy from within. Anyone who refuses to bend a knee or dares to criticize him would qualify, in his mind, as the enemy within.
Now, that has to be one of the biggest ridiculous lies that she's expecting the American public to accept. And it's absolutely insane. He's not going to turn the American military on people just because they mock him or they put him down or they don't care for him. I mean, if he had 4 years to do that. It didn't happen once. And these lies about the insurrection, I mean, all you have to do is watch the other video I made. I mean, an insurrection where nobody came with guns. And the only person that got shot was one of the demonstrators, Ashley Babbitt. I mean, it's incredible. That is dangerous. And that's one of the reasons why Donald Trump got shot, is rhetoric like this. And the Joe Biden campaign said that they were going to knock this down. And I believe I do remember Kamala Harris saying she was going to do the same. But if you see, she's desperate because she knows she's down in the polls. And so for that reason alone, she's justifying saying this dangerous rhetoric about a prior president of our country. And then now, this is another incentive between now and the election on November 5th for somebody to try to take him out again. And she doesn't care. What's more important is winning. It doesn't matter the tactics. It doesn't matter the ethical standards you have to walk over to get there. All that matters is winning. And to me, that's disgusting. I don't know how you could vote for somebody who would do something like this, especially a woman who would just say what she just said there. That is dangerous, dangerous rhetoric. And it does. It jeopardizes the security of our country. All right, so that's my video for today. And I would like to hear your comments and below. And I want you to always remember, what burns my ass probably burns your ass too. Thanks for watching.